what number I had of him, but I haven't been in contact with that guy in a long time.
Before you pull that out, let's do something with the other ones and put.
Oh, no, absolutely. I was just moving things along while he was talking.
Yeah. But let's put the other back in the other box back in the bag before you open the other box and. Anyway.
Got it.
Trying to.
Okay, go ahead with what you were saying about the bullets.
But yes, there was some ammunition that was left from somebody who came out and did some shooting, and I left them. They were left in the tool shed, so they should have been with some 16 gauge shotgun shells.
I marked it as 201, and I would move to admit these as Scott 201.
No objections.
Next one. So this will be Scott 202.
No objections.
Defense is introducing it. You are going to maintain it.
We will.
All right. You want them to mark the box or the bag or both or what?
We can keep up with it. We'll mark
Alright,
it all.
I'm putting it on the bag.
Okay.
And then we'll mark the box afterward.
202. May I approach, Your Honor? What are these cartridges?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading these. I need new contacts. Looks like 280, but typically they say on the side of the box.
Can you see anywhere on the side of the box?
Am I able to pull one out to get a closer look?
I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in for you.
I don't care. Can you read it? Just zoom in on that. I'll stipulate to wherever they say the bullets up, just to find out.
I believe it's a 380. Would that be a refresh your memory?
Yeah.
To the letter on the.
Oh, very clear there now.
Miracle of modern technology. When I say modern, I mean 12 years ago.
Okay. And if I haven't tendered that, I would ask to admit as Scott 202.
No objection.
Sometimes trials are obviously slow and monotonous, but there's something that I do want to talk to you about, and it is previously. No, not yet. I'm going to show you what's previously been admitted in this case as Stewart Defense 1. What is this room?
That is the wash stall. That's where we give our horses baths, and we would also wash the dogs there too.
Okay. Would you say that this is generally the area you were in charge of this area? Yes?
Yeah, this is down in the barn where all the horse stalls are.
Okay. All right, now I want to go back to the night of the 3rd. You talked to your mom. What did your mom say when she called you?
When I was at the lake house,
When you were at the lake house?
she called me and she asked me, when are you going to be home? And I said, I don't know why, what's going on. And she said the horses were out. And I asked her how the horses get out. And she said, your father left the gate open. And she said, you need to get home and help get them up. And I said, well, I'll be on my way shortly.
Scott, you did it again. And I noticed this, and do you notice this? You didn't remember anything about your day. Very little conversation-wise. You don't remember what you said to your dad. You don't remember what your dad said to you. You don't remember any of those things, but you remember every word, allegedly, from that conversation with your mom on that night. Word for word. Is that not odd? That's the question.
To me, no. That was, a major event that it was in the, eventually to come of this situation. So,
Nicole, do we have those phone calls from that time period? So you drove back and there was another phone call. Yes?
yes, when I got back to the property, once I made it up to the barn, I tried calling her.
You tried calling her?
Yes, and she did not answer.
All right. Do you have the picture? Yes, ma'am. I do. Would you agree? Okay, that's fine. We've agreed to take a brief break, Your Honor. I need to get a demonstrative together.
All right. We'll take our mid-afternoon recess. We'll try to keep it 10 minutes. Although if they need to do something, it may take 15. That's what I'm trying to address before y'all confuse everybody.
Okay. Mr. Farris, I'm not talking about these phone calls that would have happened earlier in the day. I'm just talking about this one right now.
Okay.
Okay? And that would have been when you were leaving the lake, yes?
That seems about right, yes.
Yes? Okay. So then you call your mother at 11:30 p.m. and cancel the call?
I didn't cancel it. I remember when I got to the farm, I tried calling her and it went to voicemail.
Okay.
So, and then she called me back a short time afterwards.
At 11:34 p.m.
Yes.
And what was the nature of that conversation?
So when she finally called me back, I noticed when I pulled into the farm, the horses were in the pasture. So I pulled up to the barn and tried calling her.
Meaning the horses were put up. They were
They were on the property. They were in the pastures.
right. So, but everything, you didn't have to go put the horses up.
No, I did not have to go retrieve them. Like when she called me and said the horses were out, they were not in a pasture. They were either running around the property or they made it off the property.
They could make it off the property?
Yes,
How
they've
would
done
they
it
do that?
before. They go up the driveway and
Head out per cell?
yes,
Okay. So they're in the pasture.
yes.
Call mom. All right, go ahead.
So I tried calling her. She didn't answer. I proceeded to go up and I made sure the gates were closed and, everything seemed all right. And she called me back and I said, what the hell? You said the horses were out.
You said to your mom, what the hell?
Yeah, I probably along those lines. I was like, you said, what the hell? You said the horses were out. I might have not said a hell, but I made the reference and said, you called me and said the horses were out. And she said, well, I was able to get them back up.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I noticed the fire burning when I was pulling up to the barn at the burn pile. And I said, so I guess Daddy decided to burn that pile because he did talk about burning it prior to that day. And she said, yes, he did. I was like, okay, well, y'all need to keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't spread. And she was like, okay, we will. And then I informed her, it's like, hey, I'm waking up very early in the morning. I'm going to play golf with Ted and Phillip, but I'm going to come over and get the debit card and run and get some cash out before I go. And she said, okay, just let me know when you're coming over to the house. And that was all that was said in that conversation. And then I just went into my apartment and eventually fell asleep.
And you did like a check, you mentioned, right?
I checked the gates where the horses were at, make sure they were closed so they wouldn't get out again if they were out.
Other animals, you said earlier you checked on some other things.
Yeah, I made sure the goats were in the actual goat pen and the chicken coop door was closed. So
Which chicken coop?
the one there at the barn.
So you didn't go over to the house?
No, I never went over to the house that night.
Because you mentioned earlier for the first time that you went and checked the chicken coop. You'd never mentioned that in any of your other interviews.
Okay. I checked everything in the vicinity of the barn.
So, you just kind of did a brief rundown of this 4-minute phone call. That's 4 minutes? That's rather long. It's almost 5 minutes. It's 4 minutes. Do you remember anything else that you talked about in this 4-minute phone call? At 11:34 p.m.?
No, I don't remember anything else.
Okay. But you remember what you said earlier?
Yes.